I work in sports radio. It's a part-time commitment. For many in radio this day and age, it's perhaps one of several part-time commitments. But as a wise friend and coworker once said, it's the best part-time job in the world. I get to air my grievances about the local teams, interview cool people, react to games, and take calls from fans, both positive and negative. And I'm a contributor to a station that's won some major awards. It's cool to think about after more than a decade of doing it. I grew up with the radio on. That cliche about, I used to fall asleep with the radio on my pillow when I was a kid. Yup, it was a Sanyo Stereocast. The cliche about, on a clear summer's night you could pull in a signal from Indiana. Yup. And the random conspiracy theory broadcast with guys talking about aliens. I listened to Casey Kasem's Top 40 Countdown on the weekend, to baseball, basketball, hockey, and football games, recorded songs off the radio, made mixtapes, soundtracked my summer landscaping job to sports talk and classic rock. And one day, my senior year of college, my friend Jay asked if I wanted to do a show on the campus radio station. I'd been asked by a dorm neighbor to co-host a music show my freshman year, but she didn't wind up sticking with it, and neither did I. But I gave it another try. We decided on a sports-themed morning zoo-type shtick. I bought a CD called 75 Spectacular Sound Effects to help us with our production. You know those classic drops you hear on the radio? Those are programmed nowadays, but yeah, we had a CD at the mighty 91.3 FM Stonehill College Radio. Something wacky happened in the baseball game last night? Track 37. Some wacky things did happen that fall. The Boston Red Sox won their first World Series in 86 years, coming back from a 3-0 deficit in the playoffs against the hated New York Yankees along the way. We spent that run taking calls on a rotary phone in the studio when a light blinked every time somebody called in. We couldn't put the calls on the air, one of us had to relay the message to the other. There were bizarre and/or outdated public service announcements that needed to be read. One semester we had a news guy, shout out Fred, and that December we started a tradition of taking requests for a Christmas show. There was always music amid the banter. Every show I'd lug this small wooden CD rack I got at a yard sale across campus so we'd have something to play during the necessary breaks in the action. We planned some things ahead of time and others on the fly. Music choices must have been made in the moment. We continued that show at a community radio station after college, and those years hold some of my fondest memories. We met friends we still talk to every day 20 years later. We promoted stuff, a sports trivia showdown, an in-studio wrestling match between two characters from the show. There was a Cinco de Mayo where we invited some revelers to join the program. The less said about that, the better. And we'd award a weekly salute to a standout athlete, pop culture figure, or water skiing squirrel. Wherever the spirit took us. We wanted more people to listen, didn't particularly care that it was what it was. What it was just fun. One day, things took a turn. Back in those days, we had a thing called AOL Instant Messenger, and I brought this up before. There was a decade where everybody was on AIM. Well, it was MSN Messenger if you were in Canada. If you had a Canadian girlfriend, that's how you talked to them. But Facebook, GChat, Skype, etc. eventually eroded the utility of the AIM app, and it faded away. The radio station had an AIM account, and I guess one show I may have mentioned that I couldn't log into the station account, but I was on my personal account if anybody had a sports take that they wanted to share. And one listener, supposedly in California, we had a web stream, sent me a message. Well, stupid me, I had my phone number in my AIM profile, and the next day I got maybe a dozen calls from this random number. They left a message the first time I was at work and couldn't check it right away, and the calls kept piling up over the course of the day. I got a little freaked out. I wound up calling and said, well, I appreciate them listening to the show. I didn't appreciate all the personal phone calls. They eventually stopped. Now, what did we do about it? Well, we had a mock trial for the listener on the air. Anything for ratings, I guess. And I guess I'm lucky things weren't any more serious than that. And all these years later, I'm still at it. I'm Sean Sylver, and this is Cracked Rear View. Each week we talk with an interesting guest about the music we love through the lens of the 1990s CD club deal. This week I'll be talking with my friend Julee Cronin, a longtime radio DJ and a producer of both music and public affairs programming. The year is 1996. My guest today is Julee Cronin. You may remember her from her days as Jules on Boston radio, on Mix, on Oldies. You're a radio veteran, you're a math teacher, and you recently completed the London Marathon. Congratulations, Jules. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Crack Rear View.
Sean, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I guess I'm in the 1% club. That's what they keep telling me. I don't know. I've earned the bragging rights, I hear, too.
You totally have. I mean, I think the most I've ever run in my life is no, I did 6 miles once.
Okay, so a 10K.
My cousins and I used to, on Christmas Day, we used to run from my cousin's house to my aunt's house where we would do the Christmas festivities.
Nice.
This happened for a few years. Then it became a booze walk. So, but I did actually one year run the 6 miles. You ran 26.2.
I did.
You win. You're in the 1% club. So,
you know what? Let me clarify though. I ran the first half, and then after that, it was a combo of running and walking. But we'll say I was on my feet for 26.2 miles.
You got to the finish line. It didn't turn into a booze walk.
No. Oh my God. Okay. No, that's a whole other story for another day. I actually cannot have alcohol right now.
Well.
No, I was just going to say, it's probably not what you think.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know where to tread on that. Is it like, oh, tell me more? I'm
an open book, so I'm just going to put it out there. I have Crohn's disease.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I just learned that about a year ago.
Oh,
and
man.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know some folks with Crohn's. It's giving up the booze. Maybe not that easy, but probably for the better.
Probably for the better, for sure. Yep. And it helped me focus on the 26.2.
Seriously. So I was going to say, we've known each other about 20 years, the things I am just finding out now. But at that time, you were, quote unquote, in radio. I was looking to get into radio. I wanted to kind of ask you, because you've really done it all from like a broadcasting perspective. Like, what was your initial interest in getting into the field, and how did that kind of play out for you?
I feel like it was definitely rooted into my childhood. I have vivid memories, and actually, like, when you reached out to me to come on to your show, it sparked so many of those memories. And I remember those flyers so much so that, like, I would pretend to fill them out. My parents would never let me send them in because they, like, I don't know if they just didn't believe it, like if it was a legit, like, oh, 11 CDs for the price of one, like they never would let me buy into it. So I would always just kind of like collect them, and like sometimes I'd cut out like the album covers and make a collage and all this other stuff. But like, to rewind even a little bit earlier than that, my dad was friends with the guy who was on 98.5, the frequency back when it was ROR. So like,
holy
Boston
cow.
Radio right now,
yeah,
ROR is 105.7. I'm talking like, it must have been like the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
It was ROR 98.5. And my dad knew the morning show producer, Linda Jean, and he knew her from high school. And he would always talk about her. He would always talk about how she would produce the Joe and Andy show. And it became this like, you know, I'm rewinding 35, 40 years ago at this point. There was no internet. There was no like platforms like we're on right now. You could not see these people. You just made this vision kind of in your mind as to like what was going on behind the scenes at a radio
Yeah.
station. And that was always so like I was curious about it. I was really, really curious about it. And I remember my dad would always like have the radio on Saturday nights. You know, it would be Saturday night at the oldies, I think is what it was called. And I would call up as a little kid and I would talk to Joe Martell. And I would say, like, oh, it's my birthday. And he would ask me, you know, all these questions. And I'd be like, he'd be like, what did you get? And I said, I got a Corvette, but it was like the Barbie Corvette.
Yep.
And like
Yep.
my dad has these like recordings of
Oh,
me
that's
on
so
like
cool.
probably cassettes. Like I need to actually ask him so that we can like digitize them because who knows if they even would still play.
Seriously.
But we have, you know, we had these opportunities to call in and you know, I remember going to like station events randomly and just feeling like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I
Yeah.
would play
Yeah.
like radio station in my bedroom. My brother and I, we like had this whole setup with like two Discmans. One of them would be like the song, we'd have a microphone, we'd be recording on something else. And I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. And fast forward to high school, everybody in my graduating class knew that that's what I wanted to do. And I would call up and like jam in 94.5. They'd have like, you know, the 5 at 9 and all these other things. And I'd
Yep.
call up and I would, hey, can I announce a song? Oh, yeah, sure, you can. And like I'd call like pretty regularly. And I wanted to go to Emerson College. And so that was my dream. And my mom, literally, her reaction was, you can pursue that, but please make sure you have a backup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna deter you from it, but please make sure that you have a backup. And she really didn't want me to go to Emerson for a while. But when we went and we toured the school and we saw that it was more than just radio, it was a communications degree.
Right.
She was like, all right, I feel more comfortable about this now. Like, she was never going to turn me off from that dream, but she was always hesitant because she didn't want it to like be a disappointing experience and, you know, leave me high and dry, so to speak. And
Smart mom.
yeah, my mom's a teacher, and you know, that's where I kind of followed in her footsteps many years later. But I just wanted to be on the radio. And so I went full force freshman year at Emerson. I didn't live there. I commuted.
Yeah.
And I got myself a spot on the gyroscope on 88.9 WERS.
Love it.
Yep. And I took over like the afternoon drive and I was like, this is great. And the following year, beginning of sophomore year, I was taking a class. I can't remember the title of it. I want to say it was like a women's like sociology type of a class.
Sure.
And I don't know, they had us picking like a project to do. And I was like, you know what? Women in radio, that's what I'm going to do. And this was, you know, early 2000s.
Mhm.
So email wasn't what we use right now.
Mhm.
Like it was kind of like a shot in the dark. Like, are these people at these radio stations really going to respond
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
sending them an email? And I got to tell you, they did. I was able to tour FNX
Oh, so cool.
and yep, early morning. Went into like the station in Lynn.
Yeah.
It was definitely different than like what I had envisioned, but I was like, I'll take anything. I don't care. Like, do they want an intern? The same day or the same week, like myself and like the person I was doing the project with, we ended up going to Star 93.7.
Sure.
We communicated with Jen Carter out at XLO
Yeah.
in Worcester.
Sure.
And so at Star, that's where I met Karen Blake, who is
Wow.
one of my closest friends
Yeah.
to this day. I
Legend.
actually am celebrating her birthday with her this coming weekend.
Awesome.
at the time, Ralphie Marino was there,
Mm-hmm.
who was like former Jammin' 94.5.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Heather Gersten, who's now down in Rhode Island, she was there, and Frankie Fox. And when I tell you, they all took me under their wing and really gave me an opportunity. Not only did they give me what I wanted for that project, but they were the driving force to getting me in as an intern, getting me in on the street team. I have to thank Fast Freddy for that too. There was a little bit of turnover at the beginning of my time at Star 93.7, but they all had a piece in it. And Jerry McKenna, he was the program director. And I don't want to say the rest is history, but like literally that was the beginning of it.
One thing I've found, like getting into radio and not having gone to a broadcasting or communication school even, and just kind of working at it, at on a really low frequency for a bunch of years, and then just kind of getting lucky and winding up at a bigger station was just generally, if you are showing up and you are making the effort, people will support you. And that's almost
In
universal.
anything too.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You got to have the hunger.
Yeah. And I think that like a lot of people portray, particularly in like my, would you call it a sector, I guess, like sports talk radio. It's like there's a lot of negative, like, oh, this guy's the worst and this person's the worst. And it's just like, no, just generally, like if you try to keep your nose clean and like do the job, like everybody's pretty nice, at least at my station. So shout out
Yeah.
98.5 the sports sub, shout out Star 93.7.
I mean 98.5, like that was kind of the beginning of it. Now it's a sports station.
Yeah, no, seriously. And I remember too, because we met probably 20 years ago, and like hearing you on the air at Mix and just being like, I know that person, like on a
Yep.
Saturday night or whatever.
And then you just showed up one day. I think I was producing Acoustic Sunrise or something, and like
Acoustic
you were just like
Sunrise.
there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, like finally we crossed paths.
Yeah,
Like it was just kind of like, oh, I'm doing this, yeah, I'm doing that, and then we were in the building at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah,
We were both legit.
we still are.
We still are legit. So I love like the imagery of what you said, like playing radio. And I grew up an only child, so this is probably even dorkier that I was like, playing radio by my damn self. I had a handle. My on-air name was Robbie Montana. I'm an
Ooh,
open book
I
too.
like
I
it.
have no idea why I was named Robbie
Who's Robbie?
Montana. I just thought it sounded cool. Like make your last name a state, usually
Right.
usually something
Hey,
that
it's
works.
believable. I mean, very radio. It is a one-man show a lot of times, at least especially
Sometimes.
back when it started, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
the idea of like, kind of what we know as a morning show now, and even that's fading in some respect too. Like it's a skeletal staff a lot of times.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Definitely. I know
Yeah.
you've seen a lot of that. I
Sad.
know that I've seen a lot of that. And I love too the part that you talked about, just not knowing what the host looks like.
Yep.
I'm keeping this podcast audio only for right now. Everyone's like, "Are you going to do video?" I'm like, "No, we do. Maybe I will someday, but like we don't need to rush things right now. Like the theater of the mind means something to me to like come
Yes.
up with, I don't know, just come up with something in your head about who these people are, what they're like, like the imagination still counts."
Absolutely does, but I think that, like, that version of a podcast is almost a hybrid of radio and almost not so much TV, but, like, it's its own thing. Like, to me, a podcast is
It's for your earbuds.
audio.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
for your earbuds
Yeah, and
only.
I mean, like, I don't know if we're gonna sit what are we sitting and watching? Like, I mean, can I reveal that I made myself at home? Like, I was like, do I really need to sit behind anything? I'm like, over there, the lights are making a weird buzz, so like, probably not. I'm like, upstairs is like, it's just not really set up right now for me to put my computer there. So I'm gonna make myself at home because I am at
There
home.
you go.
But nobody really needs to know that. If I didn't say that, I could be anywhere.
You could be anywhere right now. And like, who knows? What time of day are we recording? Like, nobody
Exactly.
even knows. All I needed to know was that my water heater turned off because it was buzzing.
Oh,
And, I got to have good acoustics here. So,
life of a homeowner, let me tell you. It's something else. And it's always something. Now, I know you're asking the questions,
yeah,
but it's in my nature. I have a couple of questions for you.
sure. Yeah, let's go.
I
I
think
mean, I'm perfectly comfortable with you turning around on me.
this idea that you came up with, first off, you actually have the physical copy of the flyer from 1996.
Yeah.
First off, where the heck did you get that?
eBay, baby.
Ah,
There's
would you buy a whole collection?
there's people selling just vintage
Do any of
ads.
have my name written on them?
Now that would be great. But you would be I mean, I don't know if you'd be surprised or just you just kind of shake your head and say like that's the world nowadays, but like if you go on eBay, like vintage ads for magazines that people have just, probably used like a X-Acto knife and just cut out carefully
Right.
are selling for I don't know, amounts of money. It doesn't matter how much, just the fact that people are selling vintage advertisements from
Totally.
90s magazines that we used to read.
That's the stuff that I just drop in my recycle bin before it comes into the house.
Precisely.
Right now, you know what I mean?
And yes, now if you held on to these things for 30 years, they suddenly have value. So,
So you
um,
went and you bought them. So how
yeah,
much were they?
it ranging in price. I mean, one of the tricks of eBay is you can get combined shipping on orders, right? So if a
Okay.
seller is selling like 3 ads, they're not going to charge you $5 shipping for each, piece of paper,
Sure.
right? They're going to put them all in the same envelope and send them over to you. But, 5, $10.
All right.
There's a few sellers out there that have some pretty decent collections. At this point, I've amassed probably around 15 or 20 different, just to give me some variety for people to choose from when they come on the show,
Right.
right? I think the first
Right.
year I have right now is 1988. I'm trying to expand back a little bit. And the most recent year, I think, is 2001.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because I mean, we got to think about like the digital music era,
yeah,
right? I mean, so at a certain point, that just went
these
away.
things just couldn't exist anymore. They weren't
No.
making any money because everyone was on Napster and then they were on the iTunes store and then, from so on and so forth. So yeah, they had a run. I would say definitely most prominent in the 70s, 80s and 90s and,
Mm,
doing some research like Columbia House and BMG Music Service, their like biggest membership years are the mid 90s. And that to me,
sure.
see, that's like peak CDs. That's
Oh,
just,
yeah,
CDs were selling like hotcakes. They just seemed so accessible in 1996, right?
totally. Yeah, because we had actual places to go to,
Yeah.
like Strawberries, Coconuts,
Coconuts.
Sam Goody, Everett Music.
Independent shop.
Oh yeah. So this is another thing. And I credit my dad. So my dad knows so many people. And they all seem to stem from high school, but he knew this guy, Steve, who worked at Everett Music, which was this tiny little downtown shop in Everett, Massachusetts. And anytime something brand new would come out, I'd be like, Dad, can we go to Steve's? Steve didn't even own the place. Steve just worked there, but like it was
It
suddenly
was
Steve's
Steve's.
like place. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would go in there and, sometimes my dad would swing by on the way home and I remember he'd pick up like a cassette for me. Um, and then it became like as I got older, we would go in on Friday nights and it kind of became like a thing, like a time killer. Because when I was in middle school, my parents were building the house that they currently live in.
Mhm.
And there was like this transitional year where we had to move out of the house and we were staying with my grandparents. And my parents just wanted to keep us busy. So they'd take us out to dinner
Yeah.
and then we'd go to Everett Music and we'd like kill the evening. And I just remember going in there and the place was like lined with CDs, but like they'd only have like one copy of like older stuff.
Yep.
And sometimes Steve would have to go into the basement and he'd like disappear for like 10 minutes and then he'd find the one copy that they had of I don't know what the heck we were even looking for.
Amazing.
But yeah, I mean, you could go into a physical store and leave there with these albums, and not to mention when you opened the insert to the CD, you got all the lyrics, you got pictures. I mean, you got so much more. So much more. I remember, like, I'm all over the place, but that's
No,
okay. We're
no.
just triggering memories and everything. I remember getting Paula Abdul's Spellbound on cassette.
Ooh, that's the one with Rush Rush, right? That was the big
Yes,
one. Yeah,
yes, yes. And so I don't know, what grade was I in? Who the heck
that
knows?
was
Going to
92. I want to 91 or 92 that came out probably. So
So
you're
I
like in
was
third
like,
grade.
not even. I was like, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Went to the beach with someone, brought like a boombox, brought that cassette. A wave came and like wrinkled the insert,
Oh
like,
no!
yeah, and I probably still have it with the sand from Revere Beach. But like that,
Amazing.
it was a special thing, like inside,
Yeah.
like you got a lot out of it. Like I don't know, it would cite the songwriters and
Oh yeah.
the composers and all of
Yeah. Like
that.
I don't even know how you find that out nowadays. Go to
So,
Wikipedia. Like,
well, that's
not
the thing,
sure.
and like we have this thing called Google now
Yeah.
that we did
Right.
not. I
Right.
mean, my dad had this book that was about 4 inches thick, and it was like the Billboard Hot 100, and it would go back to, I don't know, the 50s.
Oh man.
And we'd be cruising around and it's like, "Oh, when did that song come out? Oh, I don't remember. Let me go home and check the
Check the
Bible."
Bible.
No, check the Bible.
Yes.
That was it. That was it. And so like all these memories that I like kind of forgot about, you've brought back to
Wow.
me, and I'm like literally on this high of like, "Oh my god, this is what it was." Looking at that flyer from 1996, the year that I chose, I'm like looking at it thinking, I probably looked at this, didn't know who the heck some of these people
Mhm.
were. Adina Howard, The Freak
Yeah.
Like Me. That's the
Yeah.
only song I know by her.
Such a good
But in
song.
1996, it is a good song. I guarantee I did not know who sang that song,
Mm.
because if you didn't hear the DJ announcing it,
Mhm.
you didn't know.
No
Like,
clue.
what
No,
is that
there's no
song?
Shazam to help you out. Nothing.
Nothing.
Can't Google it.
Nothing. Nope, you can't even look in the Bible because you don't even know who you're looking for.
It's
And
amazing.
if it didn't make it to like, if it didn't chart, then it wasn't in the book.
Yeah, it's like it didn't exist.
It didn't exist. Right.
Man, it's just it's funny. There's just a lot of common ground here, Julie. I knew you would be a good guest for exactly these reasons, but yeah, it's just the
Hey, I got notes. You just keep firing away.
well, let's get into 1996, I guess, a little bit, and we've talked about this ad. Let's describe it for the listeners, right? We've got the BMG Music Service is being super generous this month. They are offering us 11 CDs for the price of one, nothing more to buy ever. The first images I see jumping out the page here are the Dave Matthews Band, and on the other
Mm.
side, Hootie and the Blowfish.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Dave Matthews Band, I'm pretty sure, got their start on ERS.
Really?
I am like pretty confident of that. I can't quite confirm it, but I'm pretty sure that their first like airplay was on
Little
ERS.
radio trivia for you. See
Yeah,
now,
hopefully I'm right.
well, they wouldn't have that in the Bible, but I guarantee I could go online after this and look this
Yeah.
up and confirm it. And
Yeah,
I'll be
maybe
talking to
maybe
you
you
about that later.
should.
If not, I'll just edit this whole segment out.
Please, yeah, yeah, timestamp it, would you?
But
So, you brought up Hootie and the
yeah, I
Blowfish.
wanted to pick at this scab a
Oh.
little bit here. It sounds like you have some problems with Darius Rucker and the boys.
I think they were just so overplayed,
Yeah.
and it just was like, enough. Enough. I mean, to this day, I don't even think they sound fresh. Like, if I hear "Only Wanna Be With You," I start to, like, roll my eyes.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. And you know what I found though, and I wonder if you feel this way about any particular bands, right? I was having a conversation with somebody about Matchbox 20 the other day, right?
Mhm.
Like I I wouldn't say hated, but I was just kind of like pass because Matchbox 20 was just on like all the time in like
All the time.
1997,
Yep.
right? But now
Yeah.
I picked up like a used copy of Yourself or Someone Like You, and now I play it like beginning to end because it's just so loaded with hits. The album tracks are great. Like,
It hits differently
yeah,
sometimes though. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
you
Like,
give it some time, you get away from the song, like Freak Like Me, which today
yeah.
I saw Adina Howard and I was like, wait a minute, is she? I got her mixed up with. Do you remember that song Shy Guy?
Oh yeah, Diana
Diana
King.
King. So I got I got
Yes.
Shy Guy mixed up with Adina Howard, and I was like, was she Shy Guy or Freak Like Me? I Google it. Freak Like Me comes up on YouTube. I got my headphones on the train, and I was just like, this song is a bop. Like this is a jam.
Uh-huh.
In
Oh yeah.
1995, I couldn't stand that song because it was so overplayed,
Right.
So it just
Yep. Yep.
it perspective is really everything with this stuff.
It really is. It really is. And so it's interesting because you asked me to identify 11 CDs that I would choose. And so I was looking through the flyer. I looked through it a couple times and it's interesting because I I- when I crafted this list,
Mhm.
especially the last like 3, I'll say one of them is definitely out of respect, and I'll
Okay.
talk more about that. And I guess actually two out of those last 3 are like out of respect. And then the other one I threw in there because I figured it would be a good conversation starter, even though necessarily this wouldn't have been the one that I would have chosen, but the ones that I would have chosen were not on the flyer.
Gotcha. Right. And yeah, we do need to talk about that. I mean, let's just get to the elephant in the room. Even so, Mariah Carey was
She wasn't on that flyer.
she is exclusive to the Columbia House Record Club.
Yeah.
So
So when are you gonna
because
get those flyers? I'll go get them.
I guess I gotta, yeah. One of us is gonna go on eBay and we're gonna
Yeah.
find the Columbia
Yeah.
House. But yeah, you mentioned the song "Fantasy," the Daydream
Mm.
album that came out in late '95. I remember this.
Yep.
One of my best friends had this CD, was playing it all the time. I think I borrowed it from her for a weekend once, and it was stacked. What did you love so much about Mariah Carey's Daydream album?
I just from day one, the first time I heard Mariah Carey, I'm going back to like Vision of
Yeah,
Love.
yeah, like 90,
It,
90, 91.
yep,
Yeah,
fell in love. Absolutely fell in love. So by the time Daydream came out, I was like in 7th grade at
yeah.
that point.
So you'd been through that. You'd been through Unplugged. You'd been through Music Box.
Yep, I'd been through them all. Some of them I was just starting to shift onto like CDs. Oh, and Merry Christmas had come out in 94.
Oh
I had that
yes.
on cassette. Actually wore out the cassette. Remember when they'd unravel and you had to get the pencil
Yeah.
and yep. Um, my dad got that one at Everett Music. I remember December 12th, 1994. I can cite the date because I was at a friend's birthday
Oh
party
man.
and that was her birthday. And I played that literally every day until April when the thing like just unraveled.
You were doing Christmas in April?
Literally. And that was the only song that I would listen to.
Oh
Only
man.
song. Um the Daydream album, it's funny because that's the one that has the duet with Boyz II Men, One Sweet Day.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when I was in 6th grade, I remember it was like towards the end of the school year. And I don't know, we must have just learned about data in math class. And I went around and conducted a survey for all the kids. Do you like Mariah Carey or do you like Boyz II Men? And I just went around and collected data. Boyz II Men won, and I was so upset. But then fast forward to the fall of 7th grade, and that's when Mariah and Boyz II Men collaborated on One Sweet Day, which is one of my all-time favorites.
So all was forgiven.
All was forgiven, but Boyz II Men are at the top of my list at number 2 out of 11.
Okay.
So Boyz II Men, the 2 album,
Yes.
that's number 2. Not because I was trying to be creative. It was just because Waiting to Exhale took the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
Because when I was thinking about which year I wanted to pull for this, it was Saturday. I was doing my hair. I'm over 40. I still have moments where I'm like, blasting music, drying my hair, really just taking my time on a Saturday morning getting ready. And Brandy sitting up in my room came on, and I was like, oh, waiting to exhale. That is like the greatest soundtrack. So that takes the top spot for me, followed by Boys to Men.
Okay.
Boys to Men, Cooley High Harmony was on your flyer, even though it was from like 91.
Yeah, it was still, I mean, I think anything Boyz II Men could have sold in 1995 or 96. It doesn't matter
Totally.
which of the albums it was. Didn't they also have Christmas interpretations, right?
They did have a Christmas one,
Yeah.
yeah. Let It Snow is the one that,
Yep.
like, stands out to me because when I worked at Star 93.7, we were, exclusively playing Christmas music,
There
and,
you
like,
go.
that was kinda like the thing to do. All the stations were going Christmas. Now it's kinda just down to Magic 106.7 that does that. Um, but so I put Cooley High Harmony as number 9 because I love Motown Philly. And when I looked it up, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday is also on that album. And I just remember having like memories of my neighbors who were older than me graduating high school around like that era. And so it just like brought me back to that old neighborhood.
Did Stephanie Tanner do
Motown
that
Philly.
yeah, she did a Motown
Yes.
Philly dance, right?
Yes.
Oh
Oh, I
man.
love Full House. Full House, one of my faves.
Man. Let me test out a theory here. My first guest on the show,
Mm.
my neighbor Dan, he has a theory that anyone who had Boyz II Men 2 also, and this is just such a random thing, but they also had Green Day's Dookie.
I think I am cracking that. I did
You did
not.
not. I see, because I think it's just such a far out theory because they're such very disparate
Yeah.
styles. But he said everyone he knew that had Boyz II Men 2 also had Green Day's Dookie. And I was just like,
To
I,
be fair, he doesn't know me. He doesn't know me.
this is
So
true. Could still hold.
you'll see a pattern with the type of music that I chose. And I even kind of got a little heat for this when I used to work at Mix, because there was
Okay.
like a running joke of Jules doesn't like guitars. So
So
mine's
we're gonna get a
very
lot of
rhythmic.
R&B today.
You
Yes.
are, with like maybe there's 2 exceptions
Okay.
on this list, and I'm all over the place. Would it be helpful if I just gave you the list?
Well, let's start from the top. We know that Waiting to Exhale is number 1.
Yep.
That album stacked 7 times platinum, nominated for several Grammys. We know we're right out front with Whitney Houston with the Shoop Shoop song. I mean, this album to me, just kind of looking at it today, like featured everybody who was anybody in like 90s female vocalists,
Mary J. Blige.
plus Patti LaBelle, plus Aretha Franklin, like crazy,
Yep,
crazy
all on
soundtrack.
one CD.
You must have been in heaven with this one.
Yeah, and I'm just a big Whitney fan. Like it makes me sad that I never got an opportunity to see her
Mm,
in
mm,
concert.
mm.
I remember getting the news the day that she died. My dad called me. I was driving down 93. I had um one of my friends, June Knight, who used to work at Oldies 103. We were all in my car. I think Melissa Mack, who was one of the former meteorologists at Channel 4. I don't know what we were doing, but I think we were headed to like Station Landing in Medford to see probably my ex-husband at that point, who was working there. And my dad called and he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm driving." And he's like, "Oh, well, Whitney Houston died." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean Whitney Houston died?" Like I like literally almost like pulled my car over.
Yeah.
And like when we got to Regina's where we were going, it was like all over the news. We took a picture of us and it just happened. Like you could see the banner on like CNN, like Whitney Houston dead at 48. And I'm like, man. And so I always like I have my all-time favorites. It's always like Mariah Carey pinned up against Whitney Houston pinned up against Boys to Men. And really sometimes it depends on my mood, like who takes the number one. You're speechless.
No, I'm having a hard time figuring out who should take number one. I mean,
I
I think I would pick Whitney, and like, I mean, it's a very boomer mom thing. Like my mom had the original Whitney Houston album, the one
oh
that was
yeah.
like orangey
The
peach
orange.
color.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
yes,
And
yes.
then she had Whitney, the follow-up where she's like looking like she's getting ready to go to aerobics class on the cover.
Yes.
And she had I'm Your Baby Tonight.
Yep.
And those tapes just became a part of my rotation too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Whitney was omnipresent in my home. We had the Bodyguard soundtrack, which obviously
Yes.
was not all Whitney. There was like the Chili Peppers were on there and a bunch of random stuff.
So random.
But that was huge, obviously, because the giant success of I Will Always Love You. And then
Which secretly is not my favorite of hers.
hey, I mean, that's, as someone who rates Whitney among your top 3 favorite artists of all time, you don't have to go with the go-to, right? I mean,
Yeah,
is
exactly.
there a Whitney deep cut that we need to know about? Is it like um
She actually, Higher Love, she did a version of Higher Love. Obviously the vocals were just it was kinda like that Michael Jackson thing when
mm,
they did the collaboration with, Justin Timberlake.
yeah.
Like that what do they call it? Posthumous, right?
Yep,
Like,
yep, right.
after they've died.
Posthumous releases, yes.
Yeah, and so, Higher Love by Steve Winwood, like, not really one of my, like, songs, right? I mean, I
But a
remember it
huge single,
huge,
right? Yeah.
but then put Whitney Houston to sing it, and it's like, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah. She could make anything great. I mean, that's
She did.
just how
Yeah,
it
she
is.
absolutely did.
That's how it is.
So that's number 1, Waiting to Exhale.
All right.
Number 2 is Boys to Men 2.
Which I also had.
Who didn't,
I
right? I mean,
mean,
I think I got it later, though, on a CD, not on a cassette.
so I had the cassette, but I had it recorded by a friend for me. So it was,
Nice. Oh,
you know,
yes. Yes.
the blank tape
Yes.
with like my own handwriting and
Totally.
artwork. I did the
Yes.
Roman numerals with my
On the
own.
Maxell cassettes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did the big Roman numerals in blue on the front. So it
Love it.
looked kind of like the actual album. But yeah, I remember loving all of that stuff in that era. They were just so smooth.
I mean, they're incredible. I've seen them a number of
Yeah,
times
I
in,
heard
like, smaller venues.
from a coworker that I think she saw them like last year, in somewhere in the area.
So they were at, the House of Blues,
Okay, that was probably it.
over by
That
Fenway.
was
So
probably
I
it.
saw them about a year and a half ago, I'd say,
Yeah,
maybe 2 years. Everything's a blur, at this point, but yeah, they're phenomenal. But Michael, the, the one that has, like, the really deep, like,
yep.
bassy voice,
Mhm.
doesn't tour with them,
Yeah, they're
and he
not.
hasn't toured with them for a while.
Yeah, they're a threesome now, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
he has scoliosis,
Oh, well,
and
that's a
so
reason.
but rewind back to, like, is it the End of the Road
hmm
video?
hmm
He was carrying around a cane. Now, 10-year-old me is thinking like, "Oh, that's like a prop."
Check out that cool cane. Nope.
He has scoliosis.
Wow. Didn't know that. I knew they were two,
Yep.
I knew they've been a threesome for some time now, but I did
Yeah.
not know that
Yep.
that was the reason.
That's the reason why, for sure. I'm throwing it back even further now.
Okay.
Although it was released in 93,
Okay.
the Donna Summer anthology.
Boston born Donna Summer,
Yep. Oh, yeah.
legend.
I mean, my love of disco started on 98.5 WROR.
I was going to say, like,
And
what was the format on WROR when it was on
I think
98.5?
it was like 70s and 80s because
Yeah.
I remember that's when I really fell in love with like Donna Summer, Earth, Wind and Fire, all the disco stuff that we played on Star 93.7.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it, it just I like instantly fell in love with that genre and still love it. It's hard to believe it's now over 50 years, right?
It's crazy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think what was the first big one for Donna Summer? I believe it was Love to Love You Baby, like 75, 76. And then
That sounds about right.
she just
Yeah.
had a run. She just had like a run up to,
Even the 80s.
yeah, up into
What's the one?
what's
This
the
time I
big
know it's
80?
for real.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one of my
she had
favorites.
some big 80s hits as well. Just like pretty much a 10-year just like dominating the charts.
She's
Impressive.
great. I love her. I love her.
Another one taken too soon.
Right? I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I know. And then you forget sometimes it's like who's passed and who hasn't. You
Yeah.
know? Like you question yourself sometimes.
Yeah,
Like,
at
am I
this
still
point
right?
with 40s brain going on here, it's
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. And so number 4
yeah.
brings me to All for One and the Music Speaks. This one does not have I Swear.
So this
This
is
one
like the
has
follow-up?
I Can Love You Like That. Isn't it
Oh.
interesting that they're both like their big hits are on 2 separate albums?
Now I got a question about this. I'm not sure how in tune to country music you were or are.
Nope.
So I Swear was also a big country music hit that summer.
What?
I don't know if the country music guy, John Michael Montgomery, or All for One were the first person to record it. But I
Ooh.
also believe that I Can Love You Like That was also a country hit, and I could be
What?
wrong.
Interesting. Yeah, country is one genre that I just don't really take to. If it crosses over into top 40 and it becomes more mainstream, I do find myself jumping on the bandwagon, so to
Yeah.
speak. But not with every song. Like it's but that idea of like, oh, it was written for somebody else, like that's come up a couple other times too. And I feel like it was on my list on one of them. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll
Oh, I
find it at
almost
some
put it
point.
on the list. It was Ace of Base.
Oh, yeah?
Not the Sign, but the other one. Don't Turn Around, I think.
Oh,
Something just
shoot. Yeah, I think I've heard
yeah.
something about Don't Turn Around.
Yeah, I can't remember who it's racking my brain. Who it was like really written for. And it was like it couldn't have been further from like what it sounds like for Ace of Base.
We're Googling this right now.
Are you?
I'm
We're
cheating.
gonna put an
I
end
n-
to this
I
right
need to
now.
know. I need to know. Who was the original singer of Don't Turn Around? Tina Turner.
Tina Turner, yes. Yes. I mean,
Oh,
how far like that juxtaposition of like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's one thing to redo a song,
mhm.
right? Like Lauryn Hill Can't Take My Eyes Off of You.
Yep.
Clearly is not the Frankie Valley version,
Right.
right? But like you grow to love each one for like what they are, but like I don't know. Like it's just totally different. Totally different. Like I was just shocked when I heard that that's who it was like originally written for.
Yeah,
And like they didn't they like try to release it a couple of times and it just didn't like take.
yeah, I think I've actually heard the Tina version somewhere, and it's late 80s rock, kind of instrumentation. There's guitars, so you wouldn't like it.
Guitars, right?
But yeah, it's so wild. And this makes me think of another one. Have you ever heard the original version of what became Natalie Imbruglia's Torn?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's like an alt rock, like lots of guitars, kind of grungy almost.
Oh my.
Like if you can imagine that awesome single,
Yeah.
which just like was in everybody's ears for
Right,
years,
right?
being a grunge song. It's wild sometimes with the
That is
the stuff that
wild.
gets covered and just done up by different artists in different ways. But All for One, we're selling records in 94 and 95
They certainly were.
and getting played at the Nathaniel H. Wixom Middle School dances. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I didn't attend that middle school, but yeah, I'm sure. You know, they almost felt like a little bit of like a Boys to Men ripoff, like
Yeah.
in the in the moment. Now it's like No, I swear is all for one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I bet there's people out there that think that that was Boys to Men.
Oh, totally. I mean, like, remember in the early days of file sharing where, like, you'd
Yeah.
go on Napster
Oh,
and it would
yeah,
totally be the wrong artist?
yes,
And it's
yes,
just like, "No,
yes.
this is not Metallica. This is
Right, right.
this
You
is
never know
Celine
what you're
Dion.
gonna
Why is
get.
it
Yes,
labeled
Celine
Metallica?"
Dion. Celine, she's another great one though.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
She
yeah.
wasn't on
No, and
that
I
BMG
wonder, I'm trying to think here. So
Because You
Celine,
Loved Me.
yeah, Celine would've that was '96, I think that album came out.
Right, Up Close and Personal.
Okay, so this
The
is
movie. Not the I don't think the album was Up Close and Personal.
right.
That was the soundtrack.
So
It was
yeah,
on the
okay.
soundtrack to the movie with Michelle Pfeiffer and Robert Redford.
Nice.
And Michelle Pfeiffer was doing Dangerous Minds.
Yeah.
And so I was like in tune to her right around this time. Dangerous Minds.
It's weird that neither of these soundtracks are featured in that little box. Like, soundtracks were such a huge thing in the '90s. Like, this
Yeah,
did you pick a soundtrack in your
I
list?
did.
You did?
I did. Well, Waiting to Exhale,
Oh,
obviously.
yes, okay. Other than Waiting to Exhale?
Yes,
You
and so
did?
this was one of the others that I put on there to actually spark the conversation. So this was kind of like I wrote down kind of like a first draft, so to speak. And then I tried to put them in order of like favorites. Um oh, actually there's two other soundtracks. What am I saying? Well, let me go to the one that I'm discussing right now that I just put on there because I wanted to talk about Disney soundtracks.
Wow.
I put down Pocahontas.
Yeah, Vanessa Williams.
Yeah, and so, she was just a classic with Save the Best for Last, but she did the Pocahontas, theme song. And so, although Pocahontas, the movie wasn't one of my favorite Disney ones, and the theme song was not one of my favorites. My favorites are Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. And like these theme songs went from the cartoon version in the movie
Yeah.
to these hits on the radio. And like I love. I mean, the Peabo Bryson and Regina Bell
Yes.
version of A
A
Whole
Whole
New
New World.
World. And then Peabo Bryson again with who was the Beauty and the Beast?
Was it with Celine?
It was with
Yeah,
Celine.
yeah.
Yeah, Peabo Bryson and Celine Dion. You're right. And like those to me, those are the songs, not the Disney version.
I noticed this actually about 8 or 9 years ago when I went to see um with my wife the what do you call it? Live action Beauty and the Beast
Oh
with
yeah, yeah.
what's her face from the Harry Potter movie? Emma Watson was Belle. We went to the movie and Emma Watson has this great singing voice. And at the end, like, they were playing some of the songs during the credits, and it was Ariana Grande. And I was just like, "What?"
Yeah, no. Nope.
It's like, "What's going on here?" But it's the same thing. You have the song in the movie, and then you have some, super artist cover it to make it
Yep.
the hit on the radio, right?
Yep. But those duets though, I mean, they don't make them like they used to.
Timeless.
Do
Really.
they even make duets anymore? I mean, actually Lady Gaga and
Tony Bennett?
Bruno Mars.
Oh,
Bruno
I was gonna
Mars.
say Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga. That's also a category.
Yeah, that's another conversation. But back to the soundtracks.
Yeah.
Number 6 on my list is the Friends soundtrack.
Oh, there we go. So I noted also that the Rembrandts, who
Mhm.
have the most notable song in the Friends soundtrack because it's the theme, their
Yep.
album is actually in here. And they actually have another song that I quite enjoy, The Way It Is. I don't know if you remember
I
it.
don't know if I remember that
It's
one.
like, baby, it's just the way it is, baby.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I heard it, who knows what radio station I heard that on, like, a couple of years ago, and I was just
Probably
like
mix.
I was like,
That's a mix
yeah,
thing.
totally would have been. And I was just like, that's familiar. I got to look this up. And it was the Rembrandts. And I was like, I had
Yep.
totally forgotten the Rembrandts had another song. But
So random.
I am assuming that the Friends soundtrack, because of the juggernaut that Friends was, that is just loaded with like notable bands of the time.
So, I kind of glanced at it and I was like, I know I had the Rembrandts LP.
Okay.
I think LP was the name of the album. So I didn't have the Friends soundtrack growing up, but I had the Rembrandts version. And I think maybe why I went with that was because it had like the radio edit of the song, whereas it looked like on the Friends soundtrack it was like a longer version.
Let's talk about a couple of these things here. There's a lot of guitars, Jules, so I
Right.
hope you're going to be okay with
Right.
this. But the number 2 song on this, and they actually go to see this band in an episode, Hootie and the Blowfish. Your
That's on the
favorite.
Friends soundtrack.
Yes, yes.
So that all right, then that's it. That's why we didn't go with the soundtrack. That's absolutely why we didn't go with the
Oh,
soundtrack.
man.
But in 1994-ish,
Mhm.
when that song in the show was released, myself, my brother, and a family that we were friendly with,
Yep.
they had the 2 siblings. The girl was my age. The boy was between my age and my brother's age. All 4 of us got together in our living room with microphones and a camcorder, and we started to make a music video, and my brother couldn't get past the fact that we were actually recording, and he just would start laughing, and my dad was like so mad at him, like that we just stopped the whole thing because Mike couldn't stop laughing.
Sometimes the best intentions, things just get ruined
Yep.
because we're kids, and
Yep.
you know what, it
Totally
it
kids.
goes into your memory bank either way. Whether or not it was a successful video shoot that day or
Yeah.
not, you still remember
It
it.
was not. It definitely was not. But Friends as like a TV show, it's funny because in that era, I mean, I was young. I don't know like what I was thinking, but like I was like, "Oh yeah, like I can watch this show at like 9 or 10 years old." And like my mom would let us, and I remember like not really getting into it beyond the theme song.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then like years later I've tried to watch it and just I take to it, then I like lose interest. And I've had that happen like 3 or 4 times. It's almost like running.
That's
Except finally on the 3rd time I stuck with it. I don't know.
Well, I guess I'm more glad for you that you stuck with the running because you got to complete a marathon as opposed to
Yeah.
completing the Friends box set. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of life goals, I think you did the more notable thing.
Right. Yes.
I don't know.
Totally.
I didn't like Friends in the moment. I very much ran against the grain. I wasn't like some goth or moody kid or anything, but just like anything that was popular in the 90s, I was just like, oh, yeah, gross. But as an adult, watching back through Friends, I'd have to say I did enjoy it. I do give it its just due. I know there's some people who think that it's overrated, but I think that it's probably properly rated.
Have you seen it from start to finish though? Because I tried to
Hmm.
to start like season 1, episode 1. I've
Hmm.
only gotten through a couple of them and then I was like, ugh, I don't know. I find more joy just like popping into an episode.
Yeah, and I mean that's one of the beautiful things about, if you want to get even more 90s, like all the shows in syndication that you would just come home from school and there'd be
Yes.
whatever, 80 random 80s sitcom like Who's the Boss would be on,
Oh
or
my
just
god, love
just
love that.
right, like, and
Yes.
you could even do it with Seinfeld or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when that was running in
Golden
syndication
Girls.
in the 2000s, right? Golden Girls, so much,
Yeah.
such a fan
Yeah.
of Golden Girls. And I feel like I don't have cable anymore. Like, I feel like that exists somewhere, that I'm sure that those shows are being
Oh yeah,
played.
they're everywhere.
It's
I even have YouTube TV and they're on
yeah, you
all
can
the time.
yeah, so
Oh yeah.
you can access all those things now, but it's just a different experience for kids today because like that's what we had. You'd go home, you had this box, you'd turn it on, and whatever show was in syndication, WKRP in Cincinnati, just
Oh
like
yeah.
whatever. That's okay, we're
Right.
watching that this afternoon.
Yep.
That was it.
Well, and that was kind of the same thing with radio too, though. I mean, like, you didn't
Yeah.
have so many options. Yeah, you had different channels, but like this idea of like, I'm gonna make my own playlist or whatever, it's hard. Like growing up having radio, like I think I'm like in the minority where like I exclusively listen to radio in the
Mm,
car.
mm.
Like I'm not really streaming stuff when I'm in my car.
Yeah.
I'm listening to local stuff.
I try to get my kids interested in the radio, but the allure of, hey, can you just play the kids' playlist?
Right,
Like,
right.
it's like, yeah, it's got all their
Instant
favorites on there. It's
gratification.
got all the favorites on there,
Yep.
but every now and then you hit on something and it's just like an awesome song plays. And, one of my kids is like, who's this? And I'm just like, I don't know who it is. Let's wait until the DJ tells us.
Yep.
And then now they have
Yep.
like randomly they have a new favorite band. It's like, okay,
Right.
cool. This is how it's supposed to work, or at least
Yep.
that's how it worked for me. So it's got to be the best
Although
way.
nowadays in the car, most cars have that RDS,
That's true.
on the screen where it says like Dave Matthews Band or, sometimes there's even little ads I notice
Oh,
now.
totally.
Oh yeah,
Totally. Yeah, I
they're
see
selling that
those.
space now
I
too.
see those.
Some cars like I remember my friend Karen Blake, like her picture would show up on the screen.
Well, Karen Blake, of anyone, deserves their picture to show up on the screen. So
Yeah. Although in my new version of the car it doesn't have that feature, which is strange.
I don't know, why are we?
I did get a lesser model, but anyway,
That's your fault for getting a lesser model.
yeah, it totally is. So I'm up to well, I skipped number 5
Yeah.
because you asked about the soundtrack. So number 5 is Monica Miss Thang.
Oh, so many questions about this.
Okay.
Miss Thing is the one with "Don't Take It Personal, Just One of Them Days," right?
Yep.
This is her debut, but obviously the sophomore effort is "The Boy Is Mine." I'm going to
With
give you
Brandy.
I'm going to give you room to talk about Miss Thing, but I'm going to put you on the spot. If you could go Brandy or Monica, who do you take?
Ugh.
Sorry, Jules.
I'm not really sure. I think I have two really strong favorites, one from each,
Right.
which is why these albums are on the
So
list.
Brandy's debut album is also on the list?
No,
No.
no, Waiting to Exhale
Okay, got it.
was so Brandy Sitting Up in My Room is like
Yes.
one of my
Yes.
favorites because that was also like 1995. I just got my like Discman. You would buy the singles. I would buy the
Oh,
CD
totally.
singles.
Totally.
Yeah. And that was one of them. I feel like
You too were sitting up in your room with your Discman.
oh, I absolutely was. I still am at 40 something, like,
God bless
But yeah. So sitting up in my room kind of versus before you walk out of my life because don't take it personal. I was just like, nah. But
Okay.
I love before you walk out of my life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's so hard for me to pick one. I'm a Libra. Like I like to keep things like
Okay.
balanced
Okay.
and like
That's fair.
yeah, it's really, really hard for me to pick.
Well, let's put it this way. We're in 1996 for this exercise, right? The
Yeah,
Boy Is
we are.
Mine comes out in 98. So that's a 2 years from now question where we have to choose
Yeah,
between
yeah. Let's
Brandy
let's table
and
that till I
Monica.
get in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's fine.
The next time I come on your show, I'll pick 98. How about that?
There we go. We'll do it again. We'll do it again.
So number 6 was the Friends soundtrack. Number 7 is TLC Crazy Sexy Cool.
Oh man. Hey, and this is a historic moment here. This episode has been the first and second time in podcast history that an album has been chosen twice.
Really?
So Boyz II Men 2 has been chosen twice, and TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool has also been chosen twice.
Were they chosen by the same guest?
No, they
or
were
was it
chosen by
2
different
other-
guests.
One each.
Yep.
Okay.
Our first guest chose Boyz II Men. Our second guest chose TLC. Our third guest chose neither of those. and now you're bringing them up again, and I mean, that just really solidifies. I mean, I look at it this way. I was raised in a very radio-friendly household as well. A lot of oldies radio, a lot of
Yep.
oldies and Motown LPs getting played in
Oh,
my
yeah.
house. And the Supremes were
Yep.
it. So then in the 90s, when I heard that TLC was selling as much as the Supremes, I was like, well, this is legit then. This is the legit item. Like, they had a thing going on there.
They did. And Waterfalls, I mean, that was the song.
They're on Waiting to Exhale too.
For which song?
I don't know but I looked up the album and it said that TLC was on there.
Let me go back to that. They also had Red Light Special on that TLC
Yes.
Crazy Sexy Cool. Yeah, that was another one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Let me
which
check this out.
Of course, in 1994 we knew exactly what the Red Light Special meant.
Yeah. Like so many things. I mean, really, like blaring "I'll Make Love to You." Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that TLC song. This Is How It Works. That's the one that's on Waiting to Exhale. I don't know that one.
Now that we're shipping you all these CDs, you're going to have the opportunity.
Yeah. Yep. I'm set for life on 11 CDs.
Just make sure that you pay for shipping and fulfill all your contractual obligations, and you'll be fine.
For sure. Here's an artist that I don't give enough credit to. Janet Jackson.
Did you pick Rhythm Nation 1814?
I did. And I really didn't even know what songs were on it. But I love Love Will Never Do Without You.
Me too. That's one of the three that I would highlight off of that album that are like my favorites.
Do you know the New Edition song, If It Isn't Love?
I feel like if
It isn't love.
Yes,
Why
yes.
do I feel this way? Okay.
Yep.
That intro and Love Will Never Do.
Yeah.
Play them together sometimes. They're like they're almost interchangeable to me.
Wow, interesting.
It's that New Jack Swing sound.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Control obviously was like a landmark album.
Totally.
But this album takes New Jack Swing. It takes over. She had 8 singles off this record. It was the biggest selling record of 1990. Like, Black Cat. I freaking loved Black. Hey, I have no problem with the guitars over here. I love Black Cat.
Well, I'm more of an Escapade over here.
Sure.
It has a 50-second intro, and for us radio people, I mean, like you could tell a whole novel in 50 seconds. And I have this vivid memory of working an overnight at Star 93.7, starting the intro to that song, making a mistake in whatever I was selling, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, listen tomorrow morning for such and such contest, made all sorts of mistakes. And I was like, I got a 50-second intro. I'm just going to start this whole thing over. Star 93.7, like literally halfway through over the intro. It's like, it still hit the post and nobody cared because it was 3 a.m.
She gave you a lot of runway for that there.
Yeah, she did.
A lot of product placement.
That she did. But yeah.
Thank you, Janet. My God. Did you, I gotta, since it got brought up, have you heard the Panther story?
I don't think so.
So apparently Janet had a concert during this era, and she got a black cat, literally a panther, live animal, on stage.
What?
While she was singing Black Cat, the panther peed on stage, and the dancers started slipping everywhere.
Stop. Wow, she's full of all sorts of malfunctions.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of an earlier.
Yeah.
She should have known.
Should have stopped while she was ahead. I don't know.
After the Panther thing, you'd play it a little more
You'd
conservative, right?
think, right?
But
Oh my
let's be real.
goodness.
Justin Timberlake just is at fault for that whole thing. So
Yeah, totally,
yes,
totally. So we covered 9, which was Boyz II Men, Cooley High Harmony.
yep,
10 was Pocahontas, and then number 11. This is the one that was out of respect
yeah,
for my aunt, who was like literally like a second mom to me. I remember she bought this CD. I'm pretty confident, like, you know, when you do those school fundraisers and they sell like wrapping paper, but
sure.
then they sell like other oddball things. I think they were selling CDs.
Oh wow,
I don't even remember, but she bought Melissa Etheridge, Yes I Am.
nice.
And she loved that album, and like she would always like clean the house to it, and she didn't have kids. She passed back in 2008, but like I said, she was literally like a second mom to
Yeah.
me. So that one's just out of respect because I never really took to Melissa Etheridge, but she did.
hmm
So that makes number 11 for me.
Come clean the windows as you're cleaning the house.
Yep. Oh, she just loved the energy, with that.
Yeah, I saw Melissa Etheridge was actually down in Plymouth of all places.
Oh, at
This at the Memorial Hall.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've seen a couple of groups there. I saw Toad the Wet Sprocket there last fall.
Oh, that was on the 90210
There you
soundtrack.
go. They were in a
Yes.
lot of places back then. But yeah, I saw Toad the Wet Sprocket at Plymouth Memorial Hall, and while I was there, I saw the advertisement for Melissa Etheridge, and I was like, I bet that's great. She can rock.
Maybe it would be. I don't know. Like I said, I just never took to her. It was that same era with the Hootie and the Blowfish and the overplayed and
Yeah,
like, the guitars.
but for your aunt's
It's
purposes,
ours. Yeah, I couldn't not. And like the other ones, I ended up throwing away my first draft. Like I just was kind of making notes, but
yeah.
like they didn't really have a whole lot of meaning necessarily.
hmm
You know what I mean?
hmm
Like I feel like, beyond conversation,
Yeah.
like I feel like this list speaks a lot to me, like at that time. So
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I always kind of talk to the guests, and I mean, whoever's going to come on with me, like they're all just welcome here to be whatever they are. We're just here talking about music that we like. But I have liked kind of the authenticity of your 90s self, coming out a little
yes.
bit. And
Oh
and
yeah.
and let's be real, like, this stuff, it hooked us then. It's still awesome for us today, right? So,
And
although I don't know if you're listening to the Pocahontas soundtrack a whole lot, but
I'm definitely not. No, I'll tell you Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. Those are my choices, but I put that so that I could talk about those other
yes,
two.
yes. No, exactly. I gotcha.
But like look at this though. Like you and I haven't really had an in-depth conversation in many, many years.
Yeah.
And so like this era brought us back together and this is such an exciting thing for me. Like I literally once we set like a time and a day to do this, I like I said had so many thoughts. I just started writing them down. The one other thing I want to make sure that I say,
Yeah.
and we didn't get a whole lot of like airtime for MC because, it was the Columbia House. But going back to that fantasy album,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember going into like the record stores, they had a life-size poster of her. The same photo shoot as that album cover,
Yeah.
but like full-size Mariah Carey. I went to not only Everett Music, the place that my dad knew the guy, and said, "Hey, when you're done like with this display, do you think I could take it?" "Oh, okay, well we'll take your phone number and we'll let you know." Did the same thing at Strawberries and Coconuts
Okay.
on Route 1 in Saugus
Yeah.
because it was one of them was at one exit, one of them was at kind of in between exits. Went in, asked the same thing. I'm like, they're definitely not going to call me. All 3 places called me.
Oh
I
no.
have three life-size posters of Mariah Carey in my parents' basement to this day.
I feel
And
like you might be sitting on some value there. There's some collectible interest in these
there absolutely is. I'm going to
1995
try to
posters.
quickly search for this to see. I don't remember what year that was that my dad brought it up. He actually brought it up, and I took a picture. And, silly me, I probably should have favorited it in here. I might have to get back to you on this. I know you believe me, but I'm gonna find that photo and I'm gonna send it to you. And that's what's gonna go on your social media page when you promote my show with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, you are my social media manager, at least for this episode here. So
Oh my God. No, I'm on it.
there's no pay, but
That's okay. I really didn't think that there would be, actually. Like, I'm like, I don't think he's making money off of this yet, but stick with me, Sean, and you'll go places. I'm just kidding.
to the moon.
Stick with me and my Mariah Carey life-size posters, and we'll see what can be done. This was so much fun.
And for me too. And honestly, we've kind of dipped into some music that we haven't really gotten to cover yet. So I'm just really glad that I got to talk to you about it, because I know, how crazy you are about music, how passionate you are about radio and broadcasting, and
So much,
I've
yes.
always enjoyed our exchanges. So it's just great to reconnect in 2026 and chop it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I hope we can do it again soon for 1998.
1998, I will make you decide, Brandy or Monica. Start making your pro and con lists right now.
Okay,
All
will
right.
do.
Thanks, Jules. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean.
My guest today was Julee Cronin. Her 11 selections include the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack, Boyz II Men, 2, Donna Summer Anthology, All for One in The Music Speaks, Monica, Miss Thang, soundtrack to the TV show Friends, TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool, Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation 1814, Boyz II Men, Coolie High Harmony, the Pocahontas soundtrack, and Melissa Etheridge, Yes I Am. Julee completed the London Marathon for Action for AT, an organization that raises money for medical research that will enable children who suffer from this genetic disorder to live a longer and healthier life. You can find a link to that organization in the show notes. Music by Pierce. Subscribe to Crack Rearview on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube. You can find Crack Rearview Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Sean Sylver.